HANCO Studios presents a podcast. Today's episode, Ramses III, Cross, Sir Rentura. All right, all systems set, ready to deliver the podcast in 3, 2, 1. Preparing for the podcast. Here comes the podcast. All right, good moment, everyone. It's me, Ramses III. I'd like to give a quick shout out to the beautiful sunny morning I bore witness to when I woke up, and give thanks for the beauty, courtesy of a God that doesn't exist, right? I mean, but still, you got to give thanks to the beautiful sun. So, thanks for that, nature. And as usual, I'd like to check in on my picotarian diet. It looks like the meat switch was switched to off this morning. So that means another day in the life for all animal kind. So you know what, animals? You're welcome. Nothing today from you guys. But I look forward to my vegan breakfast, consisting of only the finest in plant-based dietary vegan foodstuffs. Oh, man, can't wait to have that scrambled kale. It's just going to be so delish. Well, I got to get to it, folks. I had the absolute pleasure to talk with the always mega popular and college favorite, Rentura. So let's just get right to this eye-opening interview, and let's take it away, all right? Up next is college favorite and mega popular, Rentura. Well, let me just say, first off, it's just such an honor to have you here.
Of course, it's a pleasure to have me on your show. It should be an honor for you. I mean, it's an honor for me to be me. I give everything a ratings boost when I'm on it, except for the major networks that don't have me because they're scared of me. Speaking of people that are scared of me, this Andrew Cuomo. I don't know what his deal is creating martial law in the United States, but I'm getting quite upset with this pandemic and the way this Cuomo guy thinks he can.
Oh yeah, speaking of Cuomo, what a leader, right? I mean, Cuomo has been clear, calm, and rational, smart, and kind of consistent. Nary a racist bone in that guy's body. Cuomo has been displaying some sort of compassion and empathy for everyone and been able to give coherent press addresses multiple times a day without aids of teleprompters. And that's something, right? And Cuomo is leading the country right now, in terms of handling this mess.
Are you insane? Come on. Cuomo has no respect for the Constitution. Of the Constitution of the United States of America. I mean, citizens are fleeing, running for their lives before any of this virus BS was concocted by the Corncob Colony Group. The citizens of New York, they were studying why attendance rates in schools had dropped so low and why people were trying to escape the Consagon paradox. Cuomo removed the Second Amendment of the people. Now the people can't shoot at the government with their guns anymore. The children's right of immunization has been thrown out, being forced out upon them by government forces. I mean, who needs to get vaccinated? I don't. It's called natural selection. Vaccines are like the Konami code of life, a way to cheat yourself from being a man and fighting a disease with grit and truth.
Well, I agree with you completely, sir. Absolutely, 100%. You're absolutely right. But, at the same time, I personally, support immunizations, especially if the child is attending a public school. I mean, the contagion paradox, as you call it, is no different. It's the common good to at least try to show or try to slow the infection rate down. I mean Cuomo is in office as the result of people electing him in. And me as a gun-blazing hoarder, I've earned the right to keep my stockpile of people-murdering blasters by, shooting targets and deer, and game. I don't shoot at banks and people. I mean, that's why I get to keep my guns, because I, take out the animals and not the people.
You don't know the damage these vaccines can do. I have. The companies that make them are not liable to the product. I once trusted the government, but after a certain excursion in a thing I call Vietnam, in which I battled the undead elites of Dracula's Viet Cong forces of the night, the question remains, what is faux science? I mean, what's the difference in watching someone that was smart become dumb after getting a flu shot? The fact that a person went for a bender at Sneaky Pete's right away, even though the doctors advised against drinking and driving in a crowded street. I drink all the time and I'm fine. Why does the vaccine get a pass? What about the lawsuits to Big Pharma that have been occurring since 1895? Follow the science. You might not like where it leads the ignorant.
Well, I don't like it either. You're right, and I agree with you. Like, God, you're so right, and yet, Sir Rentura, there are way too many variables. I mean, you could just blame it all on the vaccines, but there's the uptake of eating Cheetos all the time, drinking while pregnant, smoking boxes of cigarettes. I mean, are you saying that people are getting obese and that obesity is on the rise because people don't want to get measles? The whole vaccine can cause autism has been debunked at least 12 times a year. Don't you think we should do our part to protect this contagion paradox from spreading into the community, local swimming pools?
I mean, perhaps, but what makes vaccines exempt? Who'd allow that? Why can't a vaccinated person be put into the equation for the greater question upon mankind? Viruses live in sheds. I know, I built a shed in my backyard. Whenever I get sick, I bloodlet into a bottle, I get some leeches, and I probably should not be telling this, but I feel putting it out there will keep the conjugal paradox and the government away from my undisclosed bunker. I mean, you might have had chickenpox at one point, right?
Well, funny thing, I actually...
No, you haven't had chickenpox. That's processed through the blood of a Navy SEAL. I know I was Vlad the Impaler's #1 target back in Vietnam. Dracula knew if he harvested my blood in the ways of the true science, he'd have a super race of Superman vampires, because Vlad also knew that I was a descendant of Hercules, and we all know that Hercules had some legendary adventures.
Yeah, well, crap. Oh, hey, we're running out of time, and I got to get back to my other job here. I'm kind of needed, but hey, I just want to thank you so much, and I want to thank our guest, Sir Rentura, for coming here, and hey, congratulations on your recent knighthood, man. That's quite an honor.
Well, it's been a pleasure, young man. The pleasure, as it were, is of course yours. You are lucky to have me. And back to this Como guy. This is a street in Minneapolis, so I'm starting to think maybe he's using these underground tunnels to go somewhere. He's trying to get down to Robbinsdale, to the mound where the Nephilim green giant's been buried. He wants to find those bones, and he's going to bring them to the mayor of professional wrestling.
Hey, thank you for checking out our podcast. Apologize for the audio quality here. I had to switch to a different microphone. I just need to try to be this quick. But today's podcast was written and produced by Benjamin Terry, featuring T. Spielberg as Ramses III and Ricky Noren as Sir Rentura. You can follow the Renaissance Ricky Noren at Twitter at Ricky Noren. You can also follow Ricky on Facebook as the Renaissance Ricky Noren. You can also check out his tag team, the Renaissance Revolution, between himself and the revolutionary Bill Williams. Also, you can also check out a wrestling show that Ricky and I produce called The Live Pro Wrestling Show. It is on Facebook right now. We don't have a Twitter yet, but it's under @official LPWS. So far, we have 2 shows under our belt, and we've received some very good praise. So please check that out. We have a pretty big announcement coming soon. In the meantime, also please check out Mr. Rogers and the Make Believe Friends at Mr. Rogers Make Believe on Facebook. They are the house band that we use at the show, and very entertaining and always great. And we are fortunate to be able to collaborate with them, and that whole show in general is just a wonderful big collaboration between the wrestlers and then the people behind the scenes. And with that said, also check out Josh Stifter at Flush Studios. He was one of the cameramen. He's has got some notoriety being on Rebel Without a Crew with Robert Rodriguez a couple years ago, and he recently finished another feature called Greywood's Plot. I don't think that one's out yet, but his film that he made with Rebel Without a Crew is online at Amazon Prime and at Troma Now. Also, our ring announcer, Danger Dan, Danny Danger, whatever he wants to be called, he is also in the movie The Good Exorcist, which is streaming on Amazon Prime. Another camera person is Ellie Drews. You can follow her at Ellie Drews. She is also a very prolific filmmaker here in the Twin Cities. One of the best cinematographers I've ever met personally. That's just me. But she's amazing. Follow her stuff. She does good work. Also, you can follow Jesse Von Ruden and DJ Draper, our commentary. DJ normally does commentary for the Pro AWF, and Jesse Von Ruden works on the editing for that show. Check that out on YouTube at Pro AWF. And if you live in the Twin Cities, every Saturday at noon is Pro AWF TV. I also work on that too a little bit. I do some of the ads and do some of the filmmaking or some of the videography. I've never done this before, so if I'm rambling and stambling too much, but forgive me. I don't know what the next one. I already have an idea for the next podcast. It'll probably be the same thing. A little like, faux interview between two characters. May or may not be based on real events. This one may or may not have been based on a real exchange between something I read, or maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. This is where I say all things are incidental, and if anything was real in here, names have been changed. So take that with what you will. Forgive the rambling. I have to kind of do this in a hurry. I'm needed downstairs. But thanks again for checking us out, and also to plug my own shit. Check out HANCO Studios in YouTube, and I have one in Vimeo, but I don't think there's really anything up. And I have a Twitter, but for some reason I couldn't use HANCO Studios. It's like HANCO with a bunch of numbers. But if you see a picture of Ramses III, Great Pharaoh, you found the right page. So yeah, we'll see what goes on from here. So in the meantime, thank you for listening, and hopefully I can script out these outros a little better so I'm not rambling as much. But I thought, since it's the first one, I can kind of ramble on. And this is almost as long as the interview, so I apologize. Thanks, folks. Take care. Bye.